Hi there, thanks for joining me. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Catherine, and I have been busy the past little while working on making a journal out of this old book from 1926 and out of this old book from 1906. So we'll do a little bit of work in both of them today. Not a whole lot, but a little. I need more contractor's tape. I'm getting down to my bare minimum there. So yeah, I've got quite a bit of work done behind the scenes on Mrs. Drummond, and I'm rather liking her. She's I get the feeling she's a feisty old girl, that she's been through a lot, and she's just got quite a story in her. So inside, you'll see here, I've got the text block. It's all sewn together and glued in. Hold on here. There we go. It's all glued in. Hidden hollow back spine as usual. And then, as I mentioned, I was going to use the original and the fly leaf from the end papers, but they just didn't match where the spirit of this book was going. So they'll still go with the book to the new home. I used one of the sweet little doilies. Nancy sent me a bunch of these. I think it was like a table runner, and she took the time to take it all apart and rewash and starch them, press them and starch them. And so that's now a little tuck spot in there. And I sewed around the edges so you can see the stitching. And then what I did was I also took time and I sewed, if you can imagine, like a letter C, so that I gave it a little bit more support here. So it will, I think that it's going to need to hold things that are either folded in half, or no, it holds that quite nicely. Okay, I was thinking it was only going to be able to hold a bookmark. Didn't want to fold it over. I really like that look when you fold it over and put a pin on it. Again, I think Nancy came up with that. I've never seen anyone else. Or prior to her doing that, I hadn't seen any other junk journal creator doing that. And I really like the look of that, but these doilies are quite thick, so it's heavier than the kind that I like when I do the fold over with a little pin or a little bead or a button. So she put such a nice starch in there. I think it's going to be fine the way it is, and we'll be able to hold maybe a little photo, or I'm thinking one of my grandmother's bookmarks would look really pretty in there. And then I thought the front page had a lumberjack here, Mr. Drummond's Complete Poems, and I must admit it was quite admirable, Mr. Drummond's love of his newly adopted country. He was born in Ireland and raised in Quebec. So, although he became a medical doctor, you could tell that his heart was in poetry and storytelling. So, hence his books. There's quite a write-up on him in and his wife in Wikipedia. So if you're ever interested, you could look him up. So I just thought, you know what? Maybe she looks like a younger version of what this beautiful, well-worn face and her little dog look like. And you know what? If we should all be so lucky to grow old like that, that's the way I look at it. If you've ever lost anyone you love too young, you know what a privilege it is to grow old, and a privilege to get wrinkles and age spots and what have you. Yes, you know what? We may dislike it, but on the other hand, as my old family doctor used to say, it beats the alternative. And now we have several alternatives, because I like this because it's one of those old cards. Oh, we have several alternatives. Let me finish that thought. Because we can either, unfortunately, one of the alternatives is, and or else altering with injections and pulling and tightening and all that stuff. And no, you know what? No problem with other people if they want to do that. I get Botox, but I get it for medical reasons in my spine. But anyhow, see, already off topic. These little cards are fantastic, and they don't make them anymore. So the new owner can either take an X-Acto blade there and make 4 pages out of this, or else open it up, run a little strip of glue along there, glue it shut, and have a pocket. And same with this one. This is very easy to cover up with some pretty paper, and I may go ahead and do that before it goes off to its new home. And cover this up too. Maybe put a tiny little pocket there. We'll see. Anyhow, I didn't mean for this to turn into a flip through, but I just wanted to show you how much I got done. I'm really, really liking it. I need to come up with something nice here. When I was looking for a picture to put on the front here, I came across this that obviously I had put in another journal, because I can see that I took it out of that other journal. But it fits perfectly on one of these pages. And I do think that I'm going to find another page to put it on. One of these kind that has writing on it, so that it can become a nice tuck spot. Probably a little further in, maybe in, sometimes it's nice in the middle. That would be 5. Let's see if there's many things in 5. Oh, 5 has that midwife's notebook that Nancy gave me. This might be a good spot to put it. It needs to have room. It needs to have room. Oh boy, that'll be a tight fit, but it'll do it. It needs to have room to be able to get that in and out of there. Let's just do it right now while we're here. Shall we? Let me make this a little, come on. There we go. Okay. I want to, I want some file folder paper. Hold on. There we go. It's from one of Alice's papers, and it's just enough. What I want to do is make a couple of runners along here and here. It'll just give a tiny bit of lift to this, and we have lots of room. It's got a really good pinch, so I have room to play in this book. So the runners will just make it easier to slide papers in and out, but I don't want it too big. I'm not gonna, it does the job of a gusset without being too big. A gusset would be too big for here. Now, where are my scissors? There we go. So it doesn't need to be, there we go. That's fine. And I do want it maybe 2 layers thick. So there we go. I hope you're all doing well. It's overcast here today. I hope that means we're going to get some rain. Goodness knows we need some rain. We apparently right now, thanks to global warming, Canada has like 706 forest fires going on, which breaks my heart. We're working on it. I don't know what the future holds in store. I mean, it's happening all over the world, forest fires. It's not just, this isn't just Canada's problem. There's fires going on in Europe, in the US. There we go. Okay, so I just wanted that doubled, and I may as well do it at once. This doesn't need to be exact, so I'm just going to use scissors rather than a ruler and an X-Acto, or else trying to use my cutting board for something this small would be overkill. I really only needed that. So what I'm going to do is, I want it closer to the mouth. I'm going to use my good old strong. Let's see how long. I don't want it. I want it to almost have a bit more of an angle to it. This is going to make sense in a second. All right, so lay you down. There. Oh, paper. Paper, I don't want you there. There we go. That was from Perfect Womanhood, that little piece. I didn't clean up very well. There we go. Okay, that's one side. Maybe I should do it on here, then I'll know how much glue to put on. Anyhow, so hopefully we'll get some rain and that can help. Otherwise, I'm worried that it's overcast because of smoke, which is heartbreaking. So I'm laying this down. I'm going to lift it up and show you. I don't want it to show from the top down, so I've left a little bit of an edge there and there so that from this side it's just not even going to show. I think I have already inked around the edges of this. I got some glue on the front. Hold on. That will roll it off. If you get glue on things, let it dry, roll it off. Especially 3-in-1 or Fabri-Tac. Let it dry, use an eraser, roll it off. All right, so it's just the tiniest little bit of lift, but think about it. When I glue this down here, it's going to give that mouth just the tiniest bit of lift. I wonder if I could stick you under there. And have that little tab. Oh, I want the number 73. I wonder. Boy, I planned that right. It's the exact right height with the 73 down there. And that would give that poor old paper a little bit of reinforcement. No, not going to bother. Nope. All right, so let's glue this down. Now, in this instance, I'm going to use 3-in-1 because this is old paper. And I find gluing things onto old paper, you're almost better using a glue that has minimal water in it because the old paper wants to go, and you'll see it on the other side. You'll see it less if you use like 3-in-1 or Fabri-Tac because it's acetone based. Just a little thin strip. Or else if you used a glue stick, but this is too thin of a spot for a glue stick. I should have cleaned off that little tip before I did this. Oh well. Let's just rub that in a bit and spread it out so there's no blurbs. I'm going to bring this out a bit because I don't want tags to fall too deeply inside the pocket and then not be able to get it out. So that will actually make the pocket not quite so deep. I still don't like those, how thick some of those blobs are. There we go. Thank goodness you have a little bit more time to play with 3-in-1. All right, here we go. Got something stuck to it. Oh my goodness, Catherine. There you go. And you. So let's roll that glue off. There we go. There, she's cute. She's a nice color. Maybe that's one of their children. And then that's going to be able to hold things in there nicely. It makes that little tab a little easier to grab. And because I've actually hidden glued it over to here, see how that doesn't go all the way in? That's fine. That way, if I put something smaller in there like this, can you imagine if it got tucked way in the back there? It would be really hard to get in there and get it out. So that's good. There we go. And now we've got a nice little pocket there. I'll make use of pages that have printing on them. And that's good. I do need to figure out, I would have liked to have used that right on the back here. But first of all, I don't like using up a whole blank page and covering it up because this is really important journaling page space. So I will be putting something on here, but it'll be smaller, something smaller and pretty, but not take up too much room. So there we go. I'm going to put this aside for now because I want to do a little bit of work on Perfect Womanhood. Over here, there we go. And what I want to do is, I decided it needs a picture on it. First I thought about maybe a cheeky picture, but then I thought, no, let's go pretty. It is a pretty journal, and we're going to make it a little bit prettier before we're done. So in a way, two pretty journals, although Mrs. Drummond is quirky pretty. I think this one's just going to be pretty. So I thought I want just a really pretty picture of someone portraying perfect womanhood. And so I have this book here, Leaves of Gold, and I went through it and found a picture that I liked. And then I decided because this is so plain, but I liked the gold, that I really could use something like one of these frames. I have lots of them. And then put the picture in there. And this, you know what, I'm looking at it now, that would have actually worked really nicely, but I do like the one I chose. So I went ahead and got it ready. And there she is, our little young lady of perfect womanhood. And I put her in this frame, which I thought the oval, the longer, thinner oval reminded me of these shapes here. And I thought I'm going to put her right there. And I think she looks very pretty like that. And I haven't picked out the inside pages yet. I wanted to show you something I did. These are from, one second and I'll find it for you. Okay, these are from the Paper Studio. Again, one of the few times that I purchase things brand new. Trying to find pretty frames like this. Although I do my best to create them, and I enjoy that, I also love these frames. You get all kinds in a packet, and they're really nice, and I like how thick they are. I don't have to make them thick the way I do when I create one by hand. But I don't like that I can see from the side all the layers of chipboard, etc. So there are ways to cover that up. See how I've darkened it so it's not so... That just... my eye catches that. Even though it's on the side, from the side, my eye catches it. And it just doesn't look as nice as when you darken it up. And I've done these before, and I have used gold. And I've just gone around the edge with a little bit of gold. And in this case, I went around the edge and I just used, I have a really dark chestnut ink. It's actually writing ink for fountain pens or dip pens. So I just took a paintbrush and just went around the edge of the whole thing. And same with even the edge that's in there, because it also, you can see the layers inside there. And for me, I find it distracting. So in this case, we're going to put her right there like that. And we'll just be using 3-in-1. I've used the contractor's tape in there. It's different from masking tape. This is the tape. I go over it every time, but just in case someone's new here, if you read the inside, Scotch Brand makes it. After 3 days, it becomes permanent. So if you can lift it within 3 days, and I think for a little bit longer sometimes if it's on a shiny surface, like if I were to put it on here. But once it's been down on this, and certainly once it's been down on walls, oh my goodness, I used it by mistake once when I was painting a room. And then I took too long to lift up the tape afterwards. Whoa, that was a nightmare. Try and get all that tape off from around the baseboards. Learned my lesson. So she's going to go on there. I think I might hold off and put her on later. I was going to do it right now with you, but I think I'm going to hold off because I'm going to be doing a lot of opening and closing, and why put her through I put her through a lot of wear and tear. I don't need to pick end papers. That's right. We are going to be, see, my good old brain and the brain fog that goes in and out. My goodness. This is the book that I was going to use, do the fabric and have it on the outside. So we need to choose fabric. Oh, and I should show you the picture I found. I found a photo of Annie Chidley. Chidley? Chidley or Chidley? And Rhodes Avenue Presbyterian. Hold on, I'll get that and show you. It's so much fun. So there she is. There's Annie as a grown woman. And this was from way downtown Toronto. So how it ended up way out here where I am, I'm about an hour and a half. And back then it would have been much longer outside of Toronto. I mean, I'm an hour and a half if you're thinking there's no rush hour traffic and you're in a car that can go, 110 kilometers per hour. Very different back then. And then this was the ladies' auxiliary that was busy raising money when the churches all joined together, the three churches, to create the United Church of Canada, and Rhodes Avenue Presbyterian was one of them. So all these ladies attended this church as well, which is kind of cool. And look at the lovely hat on that one. Is that something? She must have had the money in the group. Yeah, this lady's got quite a nice hat too. They've all got beautiful hairdos. They've all got Gibson girl styles. Oh my goodness, I hated learning how to do that. And that was on one of our exams when I was in hair school. Did you have to, those of you who are hairstylists, did you have to do the Gibson girl as part of your curriculum? Now, you might think, oh, why would you have to learn that? There's parts of Gibson girl hairstyle that you would still use today. For example, if you were doing a really extravagant bridal updo, you still need to know how to build that volume. And see, I'm already off topic. We're here to talk about junk journals, and I'm talking about how to make a Gibson girl hairdo. Oh my goodness. Alrighty, we need to choose fabric for here. We'll do that before we call it a day. Hold on. Okay, so when I cleaned out my fabrics, I definitely did a cleaning. This bin were the ones I was using the most. And I thought, why am I hanging on to those other ones? So I do a funny thing. There are certain things that I know right away I'm going to donate. And there are other things that I'm a little unsure about. And what I will do is pre-donate them. I'll do a faux donate. And what I'll do is I will pack them away, put them away, and quite often I'll put them away for up to a year or so and see whether I really did want to use them or not. Out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. I did that 3 years ago with a whole bunch of Christmas decorations, and I'm actually ready to donate them next weekend because we used to have a really big house, and then we downsized when the last little bird flew the nest. We downsized, and but I still had a lot of Christmas decorations from decorating the big house. And I wasn't sure. I went through, picked out the ones that I love, and then the ones that I hadn't used for a long time, I put them in a box, and I sealed up the box and put it away in I call it my Monica's room downstairs, because it's like Monica's closet from Friends, only it's a room. I'm just looking through. What color is the cover? It's green. So I've done that with the fabrics that I thought, I'm not really using these fabrics, but I wasn't ready to get rid of them yet. So they are in pre, and I have another bin. I have one other bin that are all shades of beiges. So anyhow, I think let's decide amongst these. These ones are tickling my fancy. So let's see, where's the cover? There, I'm going to bring you down a bit. Come on. There we go. So now the cover is green. So that's quite nice. And that's a little William Morris there. That looks quite nice. So it will be coming out to about there. But I also love this little peachy pink color. Let's move you, William. That's really pretty. And I always like to imagine when you see a fabric like this, that maybe she made it from one of her dresses. Now this one's kind of cute. It's got, can you see them? There's little ladies' faces. Do any of them have a Gibson Girl hairdo? I don't like that one. It's too plain. This one's pretty. Again, reminds me that, you know, it might have been a blouse. No, wrong shade. This shade clashes with that, so we don't want those two. It comes down to these two. That green or that peachy pink. Now, I'll tell you what, I'm leaning towards this one because it's going to be showing. We're going to see it. And I feel like it makes that red match a little bit more. Those two sort of, I like that better than that. And I think I've decided on that one. So I'm going to be tearing up. I'll be measuring this. I wish I'd done it before I taped that down, but oh well. I will be figuring that out, and then I will be tearing off. I like a hand-torn edge. There's a hand-torn edge, so we could go from there. So what I'm going to do is leave the hand-torn edge, although I may put lace. I have a tiny lace that would look very pretty along there. Well, I guess we'll see when I get to it. So thanks for joining me today. Here. Thanks for joining Annie and I today. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Hope you're safe, and those that you love are safe too. And if you're like me, staying away from that social media unless absolutely necessary, bravo, I support you, because that's what I'm doing too. Take care. Say hi down below, and I'll say hi back at you.